Hey guys, what's going on? It's Talk Force TV. Back again with another Red and White show. Um, Below me, it is the one and only Luke.
Yep, I'm back again.
Yeah. And to my left, but to my right, it is Rob.
Hi guys.
First time on the show, but he's a regular in the chats on TFTV. So don't dive in as per usual. Football season starts in this weekend. Are you looking forward to it?
You want to go, Luke?
Am I looking forward to Forest potentially ruining a weekend again for 46 games? Maybe. I'm not feeling too confident at the moment, but then again, it's Forest. You never really know, do you?
I'd say given Hughton's recent achievements on a second season and getting teams promoted, I'm positive on that front. But the fact that we haven't actually signed anybody and we're kind of stuck with the same team that underachieved last season, it's a bit worrying, to be fair. I mean, there's a lot of asking from the owners, regarding wanting to get Forest to a higher level, back in the Premier League. But I think at the minute they're not actually delivering on their promise. I think there's a lot of clubs in the Championship that have bought quite good, very, very good players for the start of the season. There's a lot of clubs that haven't really bought anybody, i.e. Derby. No hints there. But I just think, given what the owners are expecting and wanting from the manager and wanting from the club in a whole, I can't see much better than last season, to be fair. But like Luke says, Forest are a team that can shock people at times. I think a big point for Forest, which I haven't seen, has always been consistency. I think Forest need to be more consistent this season, given that we go on a run of results and then we seem to dip against teams that we really should be beating. So I'd like to see that more this season, if possible.
I just want to come on to something you said there, Rob, about the owners not matching the ambition. Do you think it is that, or do you think it's the fact that in England with FFP they can't just go out and sign kind of the players that in Greece they can probably go and spend, say, 8 million on a player, and it wouldn't be as drastic as doing it over here? Because if you're spending 8 million on one player, then really in the Championship they've got to really hit the ground running to justify the price tag of spending that much money. Otherwise, you're taking a big gamble on something that's not going to work.
Yeah, I totally agree. But nowadays, it's all about finding the right type of player. I.e., Brendan Johnson, Gabriel, people like that. We're expecting to be like expecting them to play games and stuff like that. But there's then talks of us selling them. I think, in my personal opinion, Nottingham Forest come across to me as like only fools and horses. They're a wheeling, dealing team, and they always have been. Basically, they get rid of the best players, and we always get rejects.
But also, just going to come in again there, Dan. Do you actually think we're actively trying to sell Johnson and Gabriel, or do you think it's just a classic thing during the window of X players been linked with X club from an account with one follower? I mean, I got told today by a Sheffield Wednesday fan who is actually quite a decent mate of mine, but he was told by his uncle that Brendan Johnson and Hughton had fell out. Now, I've seen the tweet that was put out of that. The account only had one follower.
Oh, it was that one who, I did see the tweet about that, to be fair.
David Johnson's response back was brilliant, by the way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Just to cut in there, I think if talks or rumours are going round about Johnson going or selling him, I think the only thing that could put people's mind at ease will be for players or owners to come in and say, look, or even the manager to come in and say, look, no, we're not getting rid of him. He's in my plans. That's it, end of. I mean, we have rejected bids from Brentford, which is a good sign. That's a very, very good sign that we're rejecting bids, but it's always been said, Matty Cash, we were expecting him to stay at club, but money talks. If the right money goes, and I'm sorry, but if Forest are going to be the type of team to sell us best players, whether they be young or middle-aged, then Forest are never going to get back into the Premier League. Because we're trying to build on a team. We've got youngsters who have got so much quality and so much ambition and no fear in their mind that they should be given chances in the first team to then show what they're capable of, so instead of selling them on and then they becoming, brilliant players.
Do you think it stemmed from that Farah, when Farah was here, whereas we were selling our best players due to what Farah did, and we see that in that sort of circus?
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, I think Fowles just wanted to get rid of our better players. I think he was just there for the money. I don't think he really cared about the team, the club. I just think he was just there for the paycheck, basically. And coming to the end of him selling the club, I think he was just trying to get the money back he was owed. So he just got rid of any old players he could find to get a quick buck out of. But Johnson, Gabriel, oh God, who else? Youngsters wise, we've got so much quality in his team that they're itching. They're literally itching to get game time. I've been watching the pre-season and they're fantastic. People keep saying about Carvalho. Give him a chance. A player can be shit for one manager, but be absolutely quality for another manager. I mean, who was it? Lemucci turned Cash into a right back, midfielder, attacking midfielder, one at best in that league. Turned him into a right back, and look at him now. It's top class. It's quality. So I've always said it always takes one manager to change a player, and he did. It just proves it. Proves it a lot.
I just want to come back again on something Rob said about selling players and selling Matty Cash and all that. I don't think you can really begrudge Forest for getting 16 million for Matty Cash. I mean, that money wasn't used the best, and yeah, that's where the criticism is. It's not with selling the player, because if you sell one player for 16 million, then you really should be looking to invest that in a lot of positions, but the right way. We just invested it on a load of players over 27, which now if we got a big fee in, which I think is the only way somebody is going to go, like a Worrell or a Johnson. I mean, I can't see many more other than those two potentially going anyway. But if I draw everyone's attention back to something I think Nicholas Randall said, he hinted the way in his interview that one big player would probably have to go to fund our budget, because at the end of the day, we do have to stay within FFP that goes over the last 3 years, not just over off last season. And let's face it, when we keep buying players like Harry Otter, Lewis Grabban to a degree, and have them on the wage budget, the wages they actually are, then we're always going to be on the edge of FFP.
And I totally agree with you on that, Luke. 100% totally agree with you. And that then goes back to my other thing. If that is going to be the case, then our youngsters should be given a chance. They should be given a chance. And to be fair, I would scrap Grabban. I would get rid of Grabban. I'd get rid of Ariata. I'd give Sal. Is it not Sal? What's his name? That centre back. Sorry, who will be bought from PSG.
So
I'd give him a go. I would. Him and Worrell. I'm sorry. I mean, McKenna is a very good defender, but that Sal looks really, really, really good. In the chances he's been getting, he's always delivered. I think Graben's time's over, to be fair. I think he's a one-trick pony. I think some days you'll get brilliance out of him, and other days you'll get nothing. And in this league, you need a striker that's going to give 20 plus goals. Every club that has got promoted has always had a striker to give you that. Tony from Brentford, 30 odd goals here, and they got promoted. Tony Pookie for Norwich, loads of goals, promoted. We haven't got money to spend. Totally agree with that, Luke. Totally agree. But then we need to use us youngsters. They're there for a reason. They want to be used. They want to. Brendan Johnson, he's got the passion in his heart.
Before you move on, Dan, I just want to highlight one more thing before we go any further to touch on all the kind of transfer news there. Fans need to realise that we've just got Dave Murphy in from Barnsley. The way he worked was just very good at working within a budget. I spoke to Carvalho from the Reds report, and they never went over budget at Barnsley. They always managed to get players in, but it took them time to get it in because they were thinking about what deals they were going to do. And it may appear on social media like we're after Zion Fleming or Kulinovic or Josh Laurent that was rumoured the other day, and Tom Holmes that's been linked today, and XYZ. I mean, I can go on forever with the amount of players we've been linked with. At the end of the day, until they come into the club, they aren't our player. So, you know, whether we agree or not with the transfers they bring in is pretty much irrelevant, because as long as they fit into the style that Chris Hughton wants to play and it's successful, whoever wears the shirt doesn't matter. It's where Forest finish.
I was going to touch up on about Dave Murphy, funny enough. I mean, do you feel like we need to give this process a go? Because obviously we've done it under the process where we'd actually gone out and spent X, Y, Z on all the archers and all that. So do you feel like this new process, do you need the trial to actually give it a go, like a season or 2 or 3?
Well, you're not going to be able to achieve a squad of players under the same process within 5 minutes.
Nah.
I mean, I think some people are still under the impression that we're still working under the kind of Fawaz era of recruitment with the way they're going on. Because it's like, oh my God, we've not heard of this player. Who's he? He must be rubbish. Then we get linked with somebody that's actually well known. Oh my God, we're not going to get him. He's too much money. It's like, well, what is the answer? What will satisfy people? Like, everything is the wrong answer. I mean, I've basically just stated my whole post on my own Facebook group.
It's a bit like what Alex Ferguson used to do at Manchester United. He never spent big. He only bought the certain players that he needed to buy. Most of the time, there were players nobody even ever heard of. But when they came into Man United, they were absolutely fantastic. And I think that's what Daryl Murphy and all the backroom staff at Forest are trying to do. They're trying to fit in the right people in the right positions. And I think, yeah, you're right on, Luke. Some people are kind of agitated with certain areas that aren't getting fulfilled. Are you going to say something, Luke?
Yeah, I just find it sometimes a bit funny because the guy's been in for like 5 minutes and everyone's going, oh, let's do things like Brentford and Barnsley. So then when we get the Barnsley CEO in, that was basically behind all of Barnsley's transfers of the past probably 3-4 years, they're just moaning before he's even started. It's like, give the guy a chance. I mean, he's not even really got started yet.
Yeah, I think that's been Forest's big trouble. People come in and they don't get given a chance. Daryl Murphy, the Murphy coming in, Carvalho coming back, not being given a chance. As soon as he come back in, being slated, he's not good enough for Forest and all this lot. But technically he is. He is good enough. I think he's going to be a very, very good asset to Forest, especially under Chris Hughton. I think Hughton will bring the best out of him.
I mean, I do just want to come in on the Carvalho thing. You mentioned it about 5 times, and I've just not mentioned my opinion on it yet. I personally have conflicting opinions on Carvalho. If you get the Carvalho that started at Forest to play most of the season, then yeah, brilliant. Let's play him. But he's got to understand that in England, you can't just do kind of the attacking. Because if you set up with a 3-man midfield of, say, I don't know, Cafu, Yates, and Carvalho, I'm just plucking 3 names out the air, then, yeah, Cafu and Yates should be able to do most of the tackling. If you come up against the midfield of 3 the other way, you're going to get overrun in midfield. So he has to come back and do the tackles. And that's the main criticism I have, is he was very lightweight when he was here the first time. So every player has their own things they need to work on. I think that's where our fans get very, very divided very quickly, because if you have an opinion of an improvement of a player, instantly the other side goes, yeah, but you just don't like the player then, do you? No, that's not the case at all. It's just the fact that you can see what they need to do to improve.
Totally agree, Luke. Totally agree. And I think Hughton will get that out of him. I think he will give him the type of style that is needed in whatever position that he gives him, which I think will probably for Hughton are probably a number 10 role. I think Hughton has always been a manager to get the best out of his players. I think we saw that last season. The passion and the style of play that he's inflicting towards the Forest players. And I think now he's been given an actual pre-season with the team. I think he will, stamp his mark on it a lot better.
There've been a lot of. I think I read something the other day. I can't remember where I read it, but they're saying about Chris Hughton. He's always had that sort of player that, not saying he's lazy, but he can kind of put it more towards he don't have to do too much defending. Like at Brighton, at knockout, I think Newcastle had him a nose. I'm just throwing it around, but it was just saying that he always that sort of player that don't do too much.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a concern though with the squad that we all want to play with our fans, because I don't know about you two, but I've seen players. I mean, look at Gaytan Bong. Yeah, right. He's been a bit of a flop, but the first game he played at the City Ground, right? He was in for about 60 minutes, and he was just slated all game. And it's like, hello, where's the kind of patience to see what this guy's actually about when it's actually after the first game? And the point I'm making is, if any of these young players make a mistake like Gaytan Bong did, are they just going to crucify him like they've done with Ryan Yates, Carvalho, Colback? I mean, we need to, if we're going to have a squad between 22 and 26, then I think most of the fans need to be prepared to be patient and let them make a few mistakes and not expect it to click straight away.
Totally agree. I think just touch upon what you're saying. I think having Bong and his experience, Colback and his experience, I think having that in the squad would help and benefit most of the youngsters in the squad. especially Colback and Yates. I think them two, together would give Yates a better, bring Yates into a better player. Because to be fair, I think Colback has had some setbacks. I think he has had some bad games. Bong, definitely so. But I do believe that they are good players and they will give everything to Forest. And to be fair, we need a left back at the minute, so it looks like we'll probably be having Bong around. So some fans will have to just sit back, be patient, and hopefully we can get the best out of Bong.
Just to set up, Dan, just to move this on a little bit now, we need to remember that the transfer window doesn't end till the 31st of August, but also, Dan, come on, let's have the next topic because we've gone for 20 minutes just on 1 point there.
Yeah, it's cool. I was going to jump onto the transfers, to be fair. I know we've kind of been floating around on the transfer front about incomings and outgoings. I mean, the left back spot especially, Milad Ramidi, I think I pronounced that right. He's been linked as a possible left back for the club. Apparently, reports from Belgium suggest that didn't want to get rid of him. Because of wage bill or funny, but it sounds like he could become that sort of left back that. But then would he fit? I mean, I don't really know too much about him personally.
I mean, I'd like him to come just so I could see him try and do his forward roll throw-ins at Loftus Road.
Yeah.
I mean, if I just preempt what Dan's probably going to do here and go through every player that we've probably been linked with.
To be fair, I was going to do this like the ones that probably been done like today.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what you said now. Mess something. I think he'd be. I mean, I don't like to make too many opinions either way on a player until they've actually played about half a dozen games for actually the club that they're actually signing for, because you can't really judge until they play with your players. I don't know a lot about this Iranian. All I know is we ruled out the last Iranian far too quickly that we signed. So, I mean, I don't really care who we sign, as long as they fit the system, they work, and it's more the mentality of the fans for me that I'm interested more in this season, of actually giving players a chance to perform and not just writing them off within about 2 seconds of the tweet coming out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, Luke. It's just, I think, touch upon what you said, Luke. I think stats, when people read up the stats of certain players, i.e. this left back, they look at it, and if he's got a shit stats, that's it, cast him out. If he's got good stats, oh yeah, it's brilliant, let's get him in on the slot. We could get him in, he could be brilliant, stats could be brilliant at other clubs. He could come in and it could be completely shit. And then we slate him.
I mean, a bit like what works there is, how many players have we signed that have had absolutely storming games every time they've played against us? Like Harry Otter, like Ross McCormack, like Lee Tomlin. I mean, I thought there's another one I wanted to mention, but it's gone.
Kieran Dowell.
Kieran Dowell, yeah.
Well, Kieran Dowell was at us and then moved. I was thinking of players that have been at other clubs and then came to us.
Neil Harris. He used to be one that always scored against Forest, but when he came to Forest, couldn't hit a broad whatever the phrase is.
Did you just mention Neil Harris?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can remember when we played Cardiff and we had Neil Cam for the whole game on BT Sport. Literally every 5 minutes, they were just obsessed with showing Neil Harris in the stands. Oh, that brings me and my dad great memories. That does. Anyway, yeah. Next one.
What do you think to Morgan Rogers being linked? I mean, this one kind of came out the blue around 5 o'clock. I just walked in there, North. Apparently, he's like quite a few championship clubs are like interested, and they're saying that he could be like a big prospect.
Well, I put in the Facebook group chat as soon as I saw it. That was the most surprising thing I've seen all window. And if I could have put it with a sarcastic tone playing underneath it, I'd have it. Because, I mean, I thought Morgan Rogers would get a link to Forest sooner than he has, with the fact he played with Brennan Johnson at Lincoln last year. And, again, what was lacking for us last season is you had a right back and a right winger that seemed to be strangers. Then you got a left back and a left wing on the other side that hardly knew each other. You'd got the three in the middle that hardly knew each other. You'd got a striker that didn't even look like he was bothered for half of the season, but that's something totally different altogether. And if you got players in that know each other, and even Gabriel and Rodgers will have come across each other and will probably have a bit more of a relationship with each other from when they faced each other. Just
disappeared.
It just.
But then
it just makes it more successful if your squad knows each other. Because then, if you play a ball over the top or round the side, you know the player's going to make that run because you've got the understanding of what the player's going to do. We had lots of times where Cyrus Christie played the ball forward and you never knew what the winger on that side was going to do. Because one never knew which winger was going to play there, but also, I don't think they knew who was going to play there either.
To be fair, Luke, I think that's the absolute biggest, most sense in the entire history of Nottingham Forest Football Club. Because that is something that's never, ever, ever, since I've been born, has been done at Nottingham Forest Football Club. It is okay having a brand new backroom staff. It's okay having a brand new coach, brand new manager, and like that. But the most important thing is about a whole team gelling well together and knowing what each person is doing. And that is something that Forest have not been able to do. And the countless times they've long fucking balls and nobody's even interested. It comes straight back and then we're on attack, then we're on a defense again. And yeah, to touch on what he said, that is what we need. We need players, like he said, that Morgan. He's played with, he's played before we thingy. So he knows the type of player he is. And that's probably what we need. We need a system where everybody knows individually what they're doing and then how the other people in their squad play like. It should click, it should gel, and that's what Forest are lacking. Strikers should be like, if they're not receiving the ball. I mean, Graben did it last season, to be fair. I know I've slated him, but he did it last season where he wasn't getting much of the ball, and sometimes he would actually come into the midfield and create something in that midfield that then opened up other players. That's something we don't see much at Forest.
Do you think Carvalho coming back will get that relationship back between Graben and himself, or?
I think it would give a different dimension of an attack for Graben, which I think Graben's been lacking, which it might open him up. To be fair, I think Lyle Taylor, I think he should be given another chance at Forest, to be fair. I think he's been scrutinised a bit too much and not be given a chance.
No, false promise, because wouldn't it sadly said that he was going to play two up top?
Two up top would probably work well, but to be fair, I think the system of 4-2-3-1, I think that's a good system. To be fair, I've never really been a big fan of two up top. To be fair, but if it works, like I said, then I'm all hats off to it. But yeah, I think Lytell needs another chance in a Forest shirt, to be fair, because I think he gives another dimension of attack.
I just want to go back to basically what I was going on about with relationships. But Neil Warnock said something interesting in an article I think I read a couple of months ago, where he said tactics really aren't that important. It's more about the man management of the players. I think again that's what we've lacked. There's no kind of understanding of kind of what each player needs to become better. It just seems like it seemed for a lot of last season like there was 11 just kind of individuals. There wasn't a collective kind of team, and I don't think it mattered what Chris Hughton was trying to do last season. There was no way of trying to bring them into a team. We just seemed to be it was kind of Samba, and then the defense was kind of like 4 players, not a kind of back line, because I think part of that was the amount of changes that happened in that back line. I mean, you had Figueiredo and Worrell for a bit, then you had McKenna and Worrell for a bit, you had Blackett and Mbeso against, I think it was Bristol City. I mean, that's another thing. You know, if we want to be a bit more successful, you really need to nail the 4 in the middle and stick to it as much as possible.
Yeah, totally get it. I think Cyrus Christie had his Derby shirt on there quite a lot of times when he was playing for Forest. I don't think I'm glad he's gone, to be fair. I don't think he's good enough right back. I think he's very, very sloppy, in my personal opinion. Figueiredo, I don't think he's good. I don't think he's good to play. I think his mind was elsewhere in certain games that he was playing. But yeah, to touch on what you said, Luke, I think that's what it needs. It needs to be a consistent 11.
Yeah, I'm going to touch up on to the last topic, and that's going to be the Coventry game. How do you feel like we're going to do at the weekend?
I was asked to do a 1 to 2 minute video on this, and I think my only sentence I have on the Coventry game is he'll pick his 11 players that he is, 1, that's fit enough, 2, he reckons he's going to do a good job, and 3, it'll be a few players that are in placehold positions for the transfers to come, I reckon. I mean, don't be surprised if you see Jack Colback playing left back.
It's going to be a good match. It's going to be nice to see the fans back at the ground. But I think it's a good game to bring in certain players in, i.e. Johnson's and Gabriel, and give them a bit of a taster of Championship football and see how they do. I think it's going to be a judging game for certain fans. It's going to be a tough one. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. A very interesting one.
Do you think the fans coming back to games will have a massive effect with Forest? I mean, I think we struggled, especially last season and the season before, without the fans being there. So do you think the fans will give the players a massive boost?
Depends which type of fans turn up.
Yeah.
If you get the motivated kind of Leeds style crowd, then yeah, it'll motivate them. If you get the ones that get on the back every 5 minutes, then I think it could be pretty dangerous. I mean, I think the one saving grace last season was the crowd wasn't in the stadium for most of those games, because I'm not sure whether many of the players would have got out the ground from some of the performances last season. Then again, some of them might have been motivated more with the crowd being there. I don't know. I just think that sometimes the City ground can be a bit of a toxic place.
Yeah, to touch upon what Luke said, I think, to be fair, I think fans need to stop living in the Cloughje age, so to speak. Because a lot of fans are expecting the fact that we've done so well under Cloughje them years ago, they're expecting it now. And I'm sorry, but in this day and age of football, it doesn't work like that. It's very, very hard, and you have to work really, really hard. So I think the fans need to get behind the club every single game, win, lose or draw, and the players will feed off that atmosphere, and they will do well for the club, because I do believe giving people chances, I think it will, rub off on the players, and you will see quite a lot of shocks in that dressing room, and, well, hopefully in a better position in the league this season.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So I'd like to say thank you to Rob for coming on.
Thanking you.
And I'd like to thank you to Part-Time Lou, AK, for coming on.
Cheers, Dan. Appreciate that.
So I'd like to thank you for watching, and goodbye.